Steve Garcia with 620 Studio, and we are in part 5 of the WordPress video series that we're doing, a group of training videos that we're making available to all of our clients, so that way you'll have the ability to be able to make the updates that you need to on your site. And so the previous videos we have done have all included kind of introductions to each of the kind of the basic modules, specifically how WordPress works, how the page builder works, how the text module works, and also how images can be uploaded and viewed. So this fifth one is going to be specifically using the gallery module. Now moving forward, basically all the modules we're going to be showing are going to have some kind of basis on the text and image modules for the most part. So you'll want to make sure that you kind of understand how those work prior to moving up to these upper level or later videos that we're going to be showing. So we're going to be using the same web design page that we've been working on before, but you can see that we've added this nice little gallery here at the bottom. And so we're going to kind of show you a little bit of the ins and outs of how these specifically work and how you can add new galleries and new images to a specific gallery on a page. And it's actually very, very simple to do. It may look like it's complicated, and it actually has it's pretty powerful in regards to how it actually can work. But from a standpoint of being able to set it up on your end, it's actually very, very simple. So we'll just kind of jump on in. Going into the page builder, you can see that we have a section and a row, and then we're going to basically insert a module. So this is the same page that we're looking at on the web design page. Now I've created that extra the standard section, the row, and so I'm going to go ahead and create a gallery module. When it loads up, the first thing it's going to do is just ask you to update the gallery. So there's a little button here. So when you click on that, it's going to bring up by default all the images you already have loaded up on your system, the website so far. So you have the ability to be able to add new by uploading, or you can just use the existing ones. Now to add to the gallery, you can see that we're already set to the add to gallery section, and you can upload files by dragging and dropping, or you can go and select them. Make sure that they aren't too large, just because of the fact that from SEO standpoints and just using bandwidth, you want to make sure these file sizes aren't terribly large. What I have mine set up as is 950 pixels wide. They can be as tall, really, but I have them about 950 pixels wide, which is generally a good rule of thumb. I mean, you can go anywhere between 600 and 900, and you'll probably be okay. I'm going a little bit larger just because of the fact this is a larger screen. I want to make sure you're able to see everything well. So I've got 950 by 950 on pretty much all these images. I made them all perfectly square. I've uploaded them as I normally would, so I'm going to go ahead and choose these that are already set up. And you can see as I'm clicking on them, it's adding a little check mark. When I add the check marks, it basically is saying, okay, these are the ones that I want to go and add to the existing gallery. Now, when you first create your gallery, you may want to go and go to the Edit Gallery section first, because it's going to show you what is currently in your gallery. And you can see that I have not added this yet. This is a brand new gallery module, and it will sometimes bring in either previous galleries, or it'll bring in kind of what it thinks you want to add. Sometimes it's going to be the most recent updates. Best thing to do is just going through and just make sure that it removes any of the entries that you don't want to have in there. Go to Add to Gallery. Go and make sure these are all check marked, and select and choose Add to Gallery. Now you can see it very quickly added it to the gallery. So now these are all my images that are in here. Now, one thing you'll notice on here is that we have the image, and we have these little captions down here. These basically the title tags. These are going to be what has been, what is called the title under here. Now these can either have something that you specifically name in there, or they can be blank. If you don't want to show anything down here, then you'll want to make sure you want to make them blank. But the issue comes down to accessibility, where if someone who maybe is using a screen reader, they may not be able to see exactly what that image is, because they're not able to visually see it. So this is a good way to identify, or at least describe what they are. Basically the title and the caption. So I've left them in here for now. You can see building blocks, glare, video series, those type of things. I've just actually removed the gears one. So if I hit Update Gallery and I save this and save the page, once I restart it, or once I refresh the page, you'll see that building blocks, video series, liquid silver, twisted circulation, they're all added to my gallery. And it's actually removed that gears one. If I update the gallery, you have the ability to be able to reverse order. If I click reverse, it'll automatically reverse them for me. I can choose random order, so if you want them to randomly show up different every single time the page refreshes, that's a good way to kind of change things whenever someone's looking, let's say, at a portfolio, or they're looking at a gallery of images at a project. You can then switch things up a little bit so that way they're seeing something new on page load. Or if you want to be very specific on what you want, you can then easily drag and drop these around to where you can set them in a specific order as you want. So it's a very simple way to be able to update those. If you want to remove them, just hit the X. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go and update the gallery, save, update, refresh, and you'll see things have moved around a little bit now. Digital Glow, Video Series, Liquid Silver, those are all in place. Some of the settings you'll see when you actually open up the module window is image numbers, show title and caption, those type of things. So image number is going to be the amount of images you're actually seeing on this page. If I go and change that from 4 to 8, it will change it to show 2 rows of 4. And because of the fact that we have 9 images in this gallery currently, it still gives me the pagination down below to where I can choose next, and it will then still bring up all the images available in a pagination type format. If I change that back to 4, it'll then change it, it'll bring it back down to 4, and you'll have more in the pagination when you have 3 pages as opposed to just the 2 that you had. The elements available are show title and caption and show pagination. Show title and caption is the ability to be able to hide this on this specific page. So if I turn off show title and caption and show pagination, both elements on the front page, these caption or these titles and the pagination will both go away. So you can see now it's nice and clean. You still have the ability to open it up, click through them, and actually still be able to get to the later images without having to go through the pagination if you're only wanting to show a couple at the front and make it nice and clean. Now what you'll notice is that we still have our titles down here, and the captions would show below as well. So there's no way to remove those unless you actually go and change them out when editing the title itself. So just be careful about that. Just make sure for accessibility that what you're taking away the title tags for is not imperative to what someone may be reading. We want to make sure that the people who are reading your site, that it's accessible. Also, some of the other elements that you can see that we can change, like the background color. Under design, you have quite a few options here. For instance, the layout. Right now we have it in a grid format. If you change it to a slider, what it does is it changes it from multiple images across, and now one single slider, which has pagination at the bottom and also the arrows left and right. So they don't necessarily have to, they don't click on them anymore. Now they can actually go back and forth and see them kind of in larger format. Now you notice it takes quite a bit of the page, so you have to kind of be careful with that, especially like on home pages, that sort of thing. But what you can do is you can make them smaller by changing the columns. Instead of being a single column, you can change it to a 50-50 or a 1/3, just so you can make those a little smaller. But that's a way to be able to change the look of your gallery. You also have the ability to be able to overlay, change the overlay information as a grid format. You can change the way that the overlay image looks. For instance, like we can change that from a plus to maybe the magnifying glass with a plus. You can also change the opacity or even the color of the overlays themselves. So if you don't necessarily want it as dark or as light, you want to make it a little bit darker, or not at all, where it just has a white icon over it. So you can change that to white and make it not have an overlay. You have that ability all within the design panel of the gallery module. So you can see here's a zoom color icon, here's a hover overlay, and here's you can change the image as well. There's additional settings like image box shadows, hues, brightness, those type of things. We're not going to be able to go through all of that right now, but at least it gives you an idea of kind of what this capability has in regards to the gallery module. It's an easy, very powerful module to use. And so it's a matter of kind of going and seeing what you necessarily like and what you don't like. Now, one thing I will say that has been added recently to the page builder is the ability within the row module to change the design to make this row full width, which is actually kind of nice as well. So if I go and change that to full width and I hit refresh, basically now my images go beyond the bounding box that is the initial site, so the format of these individual pages. So now we can actually go full width. You do have the ability to be able to change gutter sizes to where if we wanted to change these to where they were touching, you would have that ability as well, to where it could be one solid block across with individual images all touching together. So those options are available to you. And one of the things we'll be talking about later is a visual builder, and that's going to be one of the greatest assets, is being able to kind of see that. So once we get further along that way, you'll be able to have a little more power behind you and kind of what you're able to do. So again, as always, if you have any questions regarding how any of these modules work, you can always contact us by support@620studio.com, and we will answer your questions as best we can. Thanks so much.